Hi, I'm Evelyn Garrett from Max Solutions. Today I'll be talking about taking care of your mental health, a guide for small business owners. So we've been talking a little bit about some specific challenges that small business owners might experience, looking at when to practice self-care, small business goals for improving mental health. We'll talk about a concept called plant seeds, and you'll understand what that stands for. Looking at some personal strategies at home or work that you can also apply, and reviewing your values. I also have an attachment for you that you're welcome to download so that you can write notes. I'd really encourage you to write notes. Anything that stands out to you that you think, oh yeah, that's a great idea, write that down. And then at the end, we'll also look at a support plan for you to create at the end. So let's have a look at some small business strategies. I've put together a list of symptoms of stress that you might be experiencing as a small business owner. Things like working long hours to meet demands. You might be feeling a little bit socially isolated, being a small business owner. Managing cash flow and finances, managing multiple roles like you as a business owner. You have quite a few different jobs. You are doing the work, you're doing the actual skills part of it, you're doing your own invoicing, looking at marketing, all of these different things. There might be some blurred boundaries between work and home because of the flexibility that you do have, but also there might be some other competing demands either at home or with other family members, and also at work as well. So managing that work-life balance can be a little challenging. Also meeting legal obligations. Researching your legal obligations is very, very important. So that's definitely an extra demand that you may have that perhaps bigger organisations don't have, because they have dedicated people that can do that task for them. Whereas you as a small business owner, you have to be across everything. And also it can be challenging to manage your own care, your physical care, and also your mental health, and also for others as well. So how do you know when to practice self-care? Do you know what your own signs of stress are? And do you know what your business symptoms of distress are? I think that this is important. For you as a person, we're going to focus a lot more about that rather than the business challenges. For you to know your own, when to actually focus on your own self-care, we can think about your body sensations. Your thoughts might be telling you that you might need a bit of extra attention. Same too with your emotions and some of your behaviours as well, and we'll focus on all of those. So what are some of your early warning signs of stress? Some people say that they might have difficulty focusing on tasks. So you might start things but then not be able to complete them, or you might start things and then get distracted and off you go and do something else because you have that flexibility. Another sign of stress might be actually feeling really tired and fatigued. For people who might be experiencing anxiety, this could be a typical thing. Anxiety kind of gets us worked up so much that we're thinking and worrying about lots of different things that we feel quite exhausted as well. And sometimes it can lead us to burnout too. Some people, they say that they feel quite tearful or emotional. This could be a sign of depression possibly seeping through, and if you have concerns about that, it could be a good idea to talk with your GP or a mental health practitioner. Same too, if you are noticing that you're getting a little bit more easily frustrated or angry as well, this could be another sign that you're just a little bit on edge, or you might be having a little bit too much stress that you're dealing with. Drinking alcohol to cope could also be another sign of stress. And finding it hard to make decisions as well could be something else. Avoiding social situations. At one point you might have been a lot more available and within yourself available and open to connect with other people. But if you're noticing that you're not wanting to go out as frequently, maybe just consider that you might be experiencing a little bit more stress than normal, so you're not wanting to be as social. And also sometimes procrastinating. When we procrastinate, there could be various reasons for procrastination, and I'll talk a bit more about that soon as well. So this is just a bit of an overview about some of the physical, cognitive, emotional and behavioural symptoms that you might experience if you are feeling stressed or noticing a bit of anxiety or depression as well. If you'd like to write down in your booklet anything here that stands out to you that you notice is causing you worry, maybe this is something for you to address with a GP or a mental health practitioner. So let's talk about some small business goals for improving your mental health. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but some of the things that I have written down here were actually written on one of the previous slides. When I spoke about some of the small business challenges, I've just used some of the same wording, but then reframed it to be a little bit more of a goals focus and solution focused. So if you're struggling to keep within your work hours, sometimes it could be some of the things that you're going through, and you might need to actually review the strategies that you have in place to actually keep up with demand. So noticing your own routine, either your personal routine and also your work routine, and maybe just reprioritize a few different things as well. I've put in there prioritize. That's more around your work list and making sure that your tasks are prioritised and organised as well. Look at your workspace too. Sometimes just doing a really good ergonomics check can be really helpful, or even review some of the other things that you use during the day, like if you drive your car or your truck as well, making sure that things are organised so that everything's kind of within reach as well. Keep your invoice pads with you if you use them, and take them on the road with you. Make sure that they're in a secure area that's quite easily accessible, and you're not having to waste time. Because if you're wasting time, or you feel as though you are wasting time, then you can make some small changes that can actually speed up your efficiency. Looking at managing your cash flow and finances as well can be a great idea to make sure that you have a very good accountant, someone who knows your industry specifically, because they can give you some great advice. And also talking with other business owners who are in the same industry can actually be a good idea to it just expand some of those business opportunities as well. Clarifying multiple roles is another important thing. Consider some extra training. And I guess specifically looking at some business management skills and other skills development within your industry as well. Understanding legal obligations, using the checklists and doing regular self-audits will actually help you to manage your stress for that. Define boundaries between home and work. Sometimes when we have blurred boundaries, if you're not aware of it, then it will continue the same way. But if you actually sit down and just think about, well, what do I actually want to do in specific times? So I encourage people to get a calendar and work and chunk out blocks of their time so that they know exactly what is work time and what is personal time. That can be a helpful tip. It could also be helpful also to organise a family meeting. So if you have other people that you are that you're supporting or working with, having family meetings structured similar to how you might do a business meeting can be really helpful to help the household function well, so that you can then also do the rest of your business tasks as well. Notice and understand your feelings. I'm very much looking forward to talking with you a bit more about how to understand your feelings and how to use them in your business. So stay tuned for that. and also understanding and enjoying yourself and others. Practice self-care strategies at work. So practice mindfulness, practice gratitude, practice affirmations, be your own cheerleader, and reward yourself often. I'll talk a little bit more about some mindfulness strategies as well that you can try, and some breathing exercises too. So let's get into some ideas. I'll talk with you about the SEED concept first. So SEEDS stands for socialise, exercise, educate, diet and sleep. And we'll go through each of these. So these are some self-care strategies that you can do in your personal life and also every day during your work hours as well. There are so many benefits of socialising. I won't read through all of the points on this slide, but you're welcome to have a look at that. When you consider socialising, this is your chance to be interacting with people within your family, with your friends. Think about colleagues as well, and this can also be applied with networking too. Socialising when you are a small business owner is so important, because it can actually help you to remember what your passion is. It can help you to be grounded. It can help you to get rid of those feelings of isolation, and it can also counteract against depression as well. The benefits of exercise. Exercise is so important. It's very important for our physical health. It's very important as a mental health intervention as well. There's a lot of research coming out now that physical health, if doctors could prescribe physical health, they should. There's so many benefits to it. So if you can add in an activity every now and then, that would be great. 30 minutes a day. We have 23 and a half hours to do anything that we want. If we can prioritise 30 minutes within our day, that can make a huge difference. So many benefits on this slide alone of how exercise can help with overall well-being. The benefit of education. Education is also hugely important as a small business owner, because this is going to help you to sharpen the skills of your craft. And there's just so much information that we can learn. I had one person who was new to business, and he was a tiler. Well, he is a tiler, and he's doing really well, but he just noticed he was really stressed very often. And it's not because of the doing of the work. It was because of the business management type of things. So I gave him a copy of this. I gave him a copy of the textbook just on management strategies, and he's a lot more confident in his skills. He's a lot more organised. So definitely, I think, be a student of life and learn about as much as you can. An extension of this too also is looking at hobbies as well. Education is not just about work. It's about educating us on as much as we can in this life. The benefits of a healthy diet. What's that saying? You are what you eat. Try to have a colourful plate. There are so many cliche things that I can say about this diet. Is so important. Similarly to exercise, it's sort of repeating the old things that are so relevant, but do be mindful of the things that you're eating. Be mindful of what you put in your body. Be mindful of what you see. Be mindful of everything, because this is going to help you to grow your business. What you eat and who you are is a reflection within the health of your business also. So see that by you looking after you, you're looking after your business. The benefits of sleep. Lots and lots of benefits. They say that people should be trying to aim for between 7 to 10 hours of sleep. I wish that my son would do that. My life will be so much better, but he doesn't. So if you can, just notice how many hours of sleep you are having. Notice as well if there are things that are taking up your sleep time. I think sometimes we work so hard that we need some self-care at night, and so we have our downtime, and then some of that could actually be taking away from some of our sleep time. And it can have an impact on our performance the next day. So just be mindful about the sorts of things that you're doing in your routine, getting ready for bed, and try to have as many hours of sleep as possible. If you have concerns about the number of hours of sleep that you're getting, you can also talk with your doctor about that. There might be some other strategies as well that they could recommend. So now some other personal strategies that you can try at home and at work. So I've just included in here about the importance of just applying good business strategies, looking at your time management, doing a review of your business as well, looking through your business plan. What else have I got here? Business management skills and leadership skills to increase your confidence in all areas of your business. Having regular meetings to review your progress. Sometimes when you are within your own business, we kind of get into the routine of doing the daily grind, and we don't stop to reflect on, well, am I still going in the same place that I want to? Have things changed, and do I need to make some adjustments? So having your own meeting with yourself, actually sit down and create an agenda with yourself and work out, compare your milestones, work out if you're still hitting all of those targets that you had put out in the first place. Let's have a look at some distraction strategies. Sometimes if our anxiety or our depression symptoms start getting on top of us, distraction strategies can be really helpful. Also, if we get stuck in a rut, stuck in a routine a bit too much, you might want to actually change up your routine, because that can be helpful as well. So throwing in a few different strategies, making sure that you have a short break, making sure that you have lunch. Definitely make time for yourself. This is really, really important. I've got some other strategies here in terms of going outside, watching TV, keeping up with your hobbies or starting a hobby could be good. Reading, gardening. Sometimes also, if you're having a challenging day with your mental health, sometimes starting easy tasks first can actually help you to kind of just get a little bit of progress and a bit of momentum. Switching tasks around can be really helpful, so that when you are having a better day and you're not going through a mental health episode, then you might actually want to take on some of those other I guess some of those challenges that might require a little bit more planning as well. Some grounding strategies. Some grounding strategies, you can use stress balls. This will be really good for people that have just a bit of excess energy. So I bought in like a little fidget spinner, or like I don't even know what they call this thing. It's just something that you can use. It's one of my Batman ones. It's one of my sons. So it's just something so that it can keep your hands busy. So things like these, or even like I play with my bracelet. It kind of just helps to ground me as well. This can be good for excess energy. Can be good for people that find that they're inside and they're not able to go out and have a cigarette, or some people who just have that they might chew their nails or something. Keep your hands busy. That's your body's way of getting excess energy out. Some other things that you can do. Keeping sentimental items with you can be really helpful. So if you may have experienced depression for a little while, sometimes you may want to continue connecting with people or places or pets, things that are really important to you. So you might actually want to keep something that's quite sentimental with you. For me, I actually have my bracelets. I also have some little crystals. I have some rocks that I found Up in the Townsville area where I'm from, I've got a few of them that I've collected at home. I collect shells, those sorts of things. So you can remember those sorts of places and carry them with you, because they are a connection to your purpose. They are a connection to something that's really important to you. Some other strategies too that you can look at is just reviewing your breathing strategy and your breathing pace. I mean, everybody breathes, obviously, but sometimes reviewing the way that you breathe to intentionally relax yourself can be really, really helpful. On the handout that I've included, there's a diagram that looks at some particular breathing strategies. So if you notice that you're a shallow breather, try to breathe down into your diaphragm, taking some deep breaths and then breathing out. I like to check if I'm breathing properly. If I have my hands on my belly button and then I breathe in, they should move apart a little and then go back down. That's how you know that you're actually taking a full deep breath. So if you do that on a nice slow count, that can be good. The emphasis as well for good stress management is to have the emphasis on your out breath, actually breathing out. I think that there's some advice about just take a deep breath. People end up taking a deep breath and then taking another deep breath because they don't feel relaxed. So then they get really lightheaded and then they start hyperventilating. If you have the emphasis on the out breath, you won't be hyperventilating. So that could be a really good strategy for people who experience anxiety. Another strategy would be looking at some mindfulness techniques. There's a technique called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I love to do this when I'm going out walking, and I think about 5 things that I can see. I think about 4 things that I can feel or physically touch, 3 things that I can hear, 2 things that I can smell, and 1 thing that I can taste or say to myself to make myself feel really, really good. It's a nice, easy strategy, and you can do it anywhere. So I do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique when I'm out walking. When I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, I'll be cutting carrots up and I'll just be thinking around, what can I see, what can I feel? Obviously I'm concentrating on cutting the carrot, not my fingers, so I'm not looking too far away. But just doing that fully present mindfulness activity can make such a difference. Another thing too, when I go for my walks, I like to collect, I call them nature tokens. So I brought one here for me today. This is from my backyard, and I like to keep these little nature tokens, or I'll pick up a leaf or just have it here, because I love being in nature, but I can't always be in nature when I'm working because I'm in an office. So these little things, it's so good for my mental health just to connect to this. It's kind of used as a bit of a distraction, but it's also like I'm fully focused on my work, but I'm also connected, and that's very important for me. So I hope that that's something that you might be able to try. A couple more things as well. So I've spoken about some distraction strategies, I've spoken about some grounding strategies, and now these ones are looking at process strategies. So if you have experienced mental health conditions before or stressful events, these are some strategies that might help you to process what you've actually been through. When you can tune into your emotions or tune into your thoughts and give it a little bit of attention, it will actually help you to focus at work, because this stuff has had some attention, and then you can actually focus on your work instead of it kind of just saying, come on, give me some attention. If you actually spend a little bit of purposeful time trying to understand what you've been through, it makes a huge difference. So some of these things. I've written down here, notice and understand your feelings and thoughts. So tune into feelings and use them as a prompt to pay attention to something. So if you happen to notice that you're procrastinating at work, talk to the procrastination. Notice, oh, I think I'm procrastinating, and then think, I wonder why I'm procrastinating. Perhaps I actually need a bit more information before I can complete this task. Who might I be able to ask if you need a bit more help? I spoke briefly about adjusting work tasks as well during mental health episodes. When you understand what your symptoms are of anxiety or depression, you can then call it what it is and recognise, well, today I'm experiencing a little bit of mental health, and it impacts on my concentration a bit. So rather than doing the heavy thinking today, I'm going to delay that a little bit longer until this period can pass. It can be very, very helpful, because you as a small business owner, you have so many other different things to do. So managing your time with your mental health, that's the best partnership. Some journaling techniques. Journaling types. There are quite a few that you can try. One's like a Dear Diary. Dear Diary, today I came and I recorded this amazing video and whatever happened. And then thinking about, well, what was my performance like? The reflective improvement journal would be looking at what worked well, what didn't work well, what might I improve on, what would I do differently next time. This is more reflective. There's a pain or stress diary where you'd be able to rate for yourself 0 to 10. So if you experience pain, you might write down 0 to 10, 10 being like a really high pain today. Where did you actually experience the pain? Were there specific triggers? You kind of just want to do a bit of investigating with some of these things. You can use the same scale as well for anxiety and for depression, and this is going to again help you to understand, well, what were some of the things that led up to this? Could it have been that I didn't have a good sleep, and so this has impacted on my pain or my anxiety or depression, or were there particular events like I'm a parent, and so some mornings are just not good mornings. So I know that, and I know that at least for the first hour to 2 hours, it's going to take me a little while to calm down. Sometimes having these pain diaries and stress diaries can help us to monitor and just know in those periods I focus on this, and then I can do the heavier tasks at another time. An urge diary is reflecting on behaviours that you want to engage in, but you don't think that it would have a very good outcome. So the method for this would be stop, think, and then act. So an example, I had a client who she experienced depression very, very badly, and she said to me that she sometimes just doesn't know if she can feel things. Emotionally, she feels very numb. So her way of testing whether she can actually feel something is to self-harm. So she uses a razor and she cuts her arms, and then, oh, I can feel pain, so I'll stop. That's what she does. So we started using this urge diary, and we spoke about how she had the urge. There was a wave of emotion that came over her, and we spoke about some different strategies that she could try instead. She opted for using water. So she had cold water, and she put her wrists under some cold water, and then she noticed that the emotion actually reduced. So if we hadn't have spoken about the stop, think, act, and she hadn't have written down all of these things, she wouldn't have developed that awareness of how else she could manage that type of distress. Another strategy could be using an art journal. So art is actually a really good thing for depression. Art can help people to have confidence to make their own choices. Sometimes with work, with business, we feel as though we're doing everything that we have to do, and we don't actually have a lot of creative choice. So art can be a very good thing to help bring back some of that interest, or It's about learning a new task, or it's learning a new skill. It's learning something completely different. And this is also very good for mental health as well. A couple of other points. Understanding you and also understanding yourself is really important. This is a bit of a repeat of what I may have already said before. So being mindful is amazing. Gratitude is also another really good skill that you can have as well. So just every day waking up and kind of saying, well, what are some of the 5 things that you might be grateful for? Or even if you're sitting in your car, hold on to the steering wheel and just take a couple of seconds before you turn the car on and just stop and think, I'm making my choices right now. I'm so grateful for this. This is my choice. I'm doing this. Also affirmations. Affirmations can be so good as well. I encourage people to write things down on post-it notes. Things like I'm strong, I'm stable, I'm confident, I've got this. I actually went through a period and I wrote over all of my mirrors at home because I wanted to wake up and know, oh yeah, that's where I'm going. That's where my focus is. So maybe that could be something that you could try. Also being your own cheerleader. This is so important. I know that people do encourage us, but when you can be your own cheerleader, you don't need anyone else because you do know who you are and you know where you're going. You know that you're set. Have small rewards as well. Sometimes when work is just constant, we forget to stop that and we forget to acknowledge all of the small wins that we have and the large wins as well. So that can be very helpful. The last thing that I wanted to talk with you about is values. I have a slide on here that has a list of a ton of different values, and this is also on the handout as well. Have a look through the values and see if you can choose your top 5. Top 5 is hard, so choose top 10 and then narrow it down to your top 10. And then if you can, narrow it down to your top 3. Your top 3, you might be surprised, you might find that at least one of those is also in your values for your business. This actually means that you've got a very good person-job fit. So we're looking at you as a person, your interests, your skills, and then your business, what your business goals are, your direction. If they are kind of matching, that's great, that's awesome, that's exactly what you want. So have a look at that on the handout as well. And that's about all that that I wanted to share with you. There's quite a lot that I've covered off. So we might leave it there. Today we've spoken about mental health and understanding the health of your business and some practical strategies of what you can do to manage your health. Thanks. Bye.